Don't you know that I'm a superstar?
Hello, Celebrity Whisperer fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Celebrity Whisperer. I am Eric, the founder of the Celebrity Whisperer channel, and the humble correspondent, and the guy himself. And as you guys know, who are followers of mine, the premise of this channel is I discuss my many encounters across the span of my life with many famous people who I've had the pleasure to come in contact with and have interactions with purely by accident. I never set out to meet any of these people. It was completely by circumstance, being in the right place at the right time. And it's been an extraordinary number and a lot of great memories and mostly positive experiences. You guys also know that I was a New York City taxi driver for 22 years, so I had many, many famous passengers. It was a side benefit of the job. I didn't really know it that when I started driving a taxi in 1990 that I would have famous people, but when I was in my rookie year of driving, the first taxi garage I worked at, some of the old veterans told me, and they were like, it was my first day, and they were like, you do this job for a few years, you're going to meet a lot of famous people. They're going to be your customers. They're going to come into your taxi. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that. And they were certainly right. And one of those passengers was Beverly D'Angelo. Now, you guys know her from the Vacation movies. She also played Patsy Cline in Coal Miner's Daughter with Sissy Spacek. And, you know her in many roles, delightful person. Beverly D'Angelo was actually a two-time passenger of mine in my taxi. I remember one time distinctly when I picked her up. Now, Beverly D'Angelo may be my all-time favorite celebrity passenger that I've ever had. What a wonderful, wonderful, delightful person she is. When she got in my cab, she immediately, I told her that I recognized her. And, she was really appreciative of that and thankful about that. But she immediately just began to engage me and talk to me like we had been friends for 20 years, best friends for 20 years. She just immediately relaxed, started telling me about her life, her career, everything that was going on with her. Now, this was in 2006. I remember it distinctly because I believe in 2006, she had recently ended a relationship with Al Pacino in which she had given birth to twins for him. And I remember during our conversation during the ride, she mentioned Al Pacino, and I remember mentioning that I had read that she had had twins with him. And she mentioned that he was 66 years old. So yeah, Al Pacino was born in 1940, and he turned 66 in 2006. So that's how I know this was 2006, 20 years ago. So she began to talk about her relationship with Al, and she went into all kinds of details, how, she was so in love. She decided to have his babies at 49 years old. I remember her telling me that. She said, I had these babies for him at the age of 49. That's kind of late, but, she did it. And I remember her discussing that. And she went into detail about what had gone wrong in the relationship and, how things went at the beginning. She said she used to, I remember this distinctly. She said she used to serve him in bed, breakfast in bed, and how he used to love that. And then, when they were starting to have relationship issues, how he would bring that up. Oh, you don't bring me breakfast in bed anymore. I miss that, and this, that, and the other. So she was going over, the visitation, the child support kind of situation with me, with him, with Al Pacino. And, I think she was saying that she had hit like a little bit of a slow point in her career. I remember her saying that, she didn't have a whole lot of money. Now, what a Hollywood star thinks is not a lot of money, and what you and I think is not a lot of money, is probably going to be very, very different. She might have been down to her last, 15 million or something, and thought she was broke. But yeah, but she was so nice, and she just, she talked to me, and it felt like I was talking to an old friend instead of this Hollywood star, and it was an amazing experience. And I picked her up a second time, and she remembered. I remember I took her to Madison Avenue, picked her up over on the west side, and I took her over to the east side onto Madison Avenue. And, she remembered, I picked her up before, and, she was giving me updates on, again, what was going on, and being very pleasant, and giving me all these details about her life. And, I just really, really, cherished those 2 trips that I took with her as a passenger. And she's a great, great, great person, a lovely person, wonderful person. And, she talked to a complete stranger, a cabbie, like an old friend, and treated me like an old friend. And, shout out to Beverly D'Angelo. I do try to keep up with her and what she's doing. But again, a great person, a great experience, I'll always treasure. And Bev, whatever you're doing, I hope you're well. Good luck to you. And, I really, really appreciate that experience and that interaction we had together. But anyway, this has been another episode of The Celebrity Whisperer. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media. E. Lawrence Johnson at Facebook, and Large Professor Eric on Instagram. I look forward to talking to you guys again. We still got a lot of celebrities to cover that I had the pleasure to meet and come across. So there's a lot more to look forward to on this channel. I'm really enjoying doing it. I've been keeping these stories inside of me for years, and I'm finally getting the opportunity to share them with the world. And I'm really, really grateful. So until next time, this has been Eric for The Celebrity Whisperer. Please stay well, stay blessed, and see you soon. Bye.
Don't you know that I'm a superstar?